Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting right into a really charged, very current political debate happening in the UK.
That's right. It's all centered on Angela Rayner.
Exactly. This isn't just about the usual political noise. We're going deeper into public trust, accountability, and, well, the tightrope leaders walk today.
It's a massive story.
Huge. We're focusing on Angela Rayner. She's a major figure, Deputy Prime Minister, Housing Secretary, Deputy Leader of the Labour Party.
A key player.
Absolutely. And she's been caught in this intense storm, a controversy that actually led to her resignation. Just today. It's a big deal.
Happened very fast.
It did. So our mission here is to explore the core question. Did she have to resign? Was it necessary for standards? Or, maybe an overreaction to the pressure?
Yeah, and what's fascinating and so relevant right now is just how quickly public opinion or political pressure can pile onto one event. It forces leaders into these really tough spots with huge consequences. And as you'll see, it's definitely not black and white. The sources we've looked at show two very distinct arguments, almost conflicting, really.
Okay, let's unpack that. Let's start with the case for resignation. The arguments from those who felt she had to go.
Right. Their core point really hits hard on, well, what they see is a clear financial and ethical breach.
So the facts, as laid out, seem pretty specific. Angela Rayner underpaid £40,000 in stamp duty,
Which is a significant amount. It's the property transaction tax in the UK.
on an £800,000 luxury flat in Hove. She bought it back in May 2025.
And the accusation is essentially this. She claimed that Hove Flat was her main home,
To lower her tax bill.
while at the same time her family home, the one in Ashton-under-Lyne.
Right, the one held in a trust for her disabled son.
Exactly. That structure, the trust, has its own tax implications, doesn't it?
Right.
Different from just owning it outright.
Definitely. So that Ashton home was also being cited as her main address. For critics, this wasn't just, a paperwork mix-up.
No, they saw it as playing fast and loose with the rules, especially tax rules, which is foundational.
Yeah. And stepping back, this brings in the independent ethics advisor, Sir Laurie Magnus.
His report confirmed a breach of the ministerial code. That's the rule book for government ministers.
Crucially, didn't the report also mention she was advised by lawyers to get specialist tax advice?
It did.
Yeah.
And according to the sources, she didn't take that advice. And the ministerial code, look, it's not just a guideline. It's meant to be a pillar of public trust.
So a breach, even without malicious intent, raises big questions.
Absolutely. Questions about standards, about the institutions themselves.
And this feeds directly into the hypocrisy argument, doesn't it? Which the pro-resign side really hammered.
Oh, definitely. You have to remember Labour's big push.
Their whole campaign promise was about cleaning up sleaze, wasn't it? After Boris Johnson, Partygate, all that.
They positioned themselves as the party of integrity. And Rayner herself was very vocal.
Very. Always railing against Tory corruption, demanding people resign, even arguing for higher taxes on the wealthy.
So when this came out,
The critics jumped on it. Is this the elite gaming the system she accused others of? That was the line.
it wasn't just about the 40K. It was about the damage to Labour's image.
Yeah.
Their carefully built image of, moral consistency.
Right. And the political fallout. How did the pro-resign side see that?
As a potential disaster for Keir Starmer's government. Crippling, possibly, especially with Labour already facing challenging approval ratings.
And it gave ammunition to opponents.
Loads. Figures like Nigel Farage, Kemi Badenoch, they were all over it, pouncing on the perceived inconsistency.
Our sources even mentioned public anger, vandalism at her flat.
Yes, which shows just how intense the feeling got. The pressure on her must have been immense.
So for this side, resignation was basically damage control.
Essential. To cauterize the wound, as they put it. Stop the bleeding, politically.
Protect Labor's credibility.
And set a standard. Leaders have to own their mistakes or step aside. That was the argument.
Anything less, they'd say, undermines democracy, drags the government down. A bitter pill? Maybe, but necessary.
Necessary for the party and for public trust, from their perspective.
Okay. That's a really strong case for strict accountability, decisive action.
It is. But, as you said, there's always another side to these things.
Right. And the anti-resign side paints a very different picture. They argue it was an overreaction, maybe even a mistake.
Yeah, they start by pointing to mitigating factors, things that challenge that narrative of, deliberate wrongdoing.
Like the fact Sir Laurie Magnus, while confirming the code breach,
Also explicitly said she acted with integrity.
Yeah.
and found no intent to deceive.
That's a crucial distinction, isn't it? Integrity versus a technical breach.
Absolutely. And they also highlight that she referred herself for investigation.
Took responsibility, essentially, and is now paying the bill with HMRC, the tax office.
Exactly. For this side, those aren't the actions of someone hiding something. It looks more like acknowledging an error and fixing it.
So they frame it less as corruption and more as, what, a mistake?
A bureaucratic snafu, perhaps?
Or
a genuine tax calculation error. They point to her complex personal situation.
the single mom aspect, putting the ex-husband's home in trust for her disabled son.
Suggesting she was maybe navigating flawed tax rules rather than trying to evade anything. It's complex stuff.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where do you draw that line between a genuine mistake, even a big one, and a deliberate ethical breach for gain?
That's the million-dollar question, and Magnus's report is key here. No intent to deceive, but the act of breaching the code.
Can still be politically fatal, regardless of integrity.
Right. Public service demands a standard that sometimes goes beyond individual intent. It's about the impact on the institution.
And what about the hypocrisy charge? How did the anti-Resigned side handle that?
They countered pretty strongly, contrasting Rayner's situation with past Tory scandals.
Partygate, PPE contracts, other allegations.
Exactly. They argued Rayner's issue was a technical breach, not on the same moral scale.
So the outrage felt disproportionate to them.
Yes, suggesting a double standard. Was a labor figure being held to a much tougher standard than Tories had been? That was their claim.
Then there's her value to the party. That was a big argument too, right?
Huge. She's seen as this authentic voice of working-class Britain.
A former union rep, central to Labour's housing policy.
Which is a flagship policy for them.
Yeah.
Even Starmer, in his response, praised her contributions, despite, the sadness of her leaving.
So losing her, especially with her background in policy focus,
was seen as a massive blow, not just to the government, but to the party's connection with a key part of the electorate.
which leads to their political suicide argument.
Right. That her resignation created a vacuum, forced a reshuffle. David Lammy stepping up as deputy PM, for instance.
And basically just handed ammunition to the opposition.
Unnecessarily, they'd argue. A self-inflicted wound that damaged stability and momentum.
Sacrificing a valuable player because of media pressure.
That's the gist. They felt punishing her for an honest error, especially since she was fixing it, sends a bad message.
A chilling message for anyone thinking of public service.
Potentially. This side advocated for fixing mistakes without torching talent.
They thought she could have stayed, paid the tax, maybe even pushed for reforms.
Yeah, turn a negative into a positive. For them, resignation felt like a knee-jerk reaction, not a necessary ethical stand.
Okay. So two really powerful, almost opposite takes. Strict accountability versus proportionality in keeping talent.
It's a classic political dilemma, isn't it? Especially under today's intense media spotlight.
It really is. And that point about Sir Laurie Magnus's report, how it could say both integrity and code breach, that's fascinating.
It really highlights the difficulty, doesn't it? Distinguishing personal character from sticking to institutional rules.
And the whole double standard thing comes up from both sides. Were Tories let off lightly before, or is this just equal accountability finally hitting?
It shows how subjective these judgments become when politics is involved. Hard for the public to sort genuine wrongdoing from political point scoring.
Absolutely. And the whole thing throws that tension into sharp relief public pressure, often media-driven.
Tabloid hysteria, some might call it.
Versus strategic political calls. How much do leaders bend to that pressure versus standing firm?
It feels like a constant balancing act. No easy wins, and every move is instantly dissected.
And looking bigger picture, this isn't just about the UK, is it?
No, not at all. It taps into that universal challenge of transparency, ethics, public trust in leaders everywhere.
How do we balance demanding near perfection, or at least strict rule following,
with the reality that people make mistakes and have complex lives?
It forces us, and you listening, to think about what standards we can realistically expect and what we should demand. So it really makes you pause. What stands out most to you in all this? Does the £40,000 mistake, even if unintended, outweigh her work? Or is it the other way around? It's about weighing different values.
Different priorities in public life.
Yeah. So wrapping up this deep dive, we've really explored that core dilemma. Enforcing strict ethics versus holding on to valuable political talent. All under the glare of modern politics.
It's like walking a tightrope, isn't it? Where every step is judged and the space for error just seems to vanish. Leaves very little room for nuance.
Or just, being human.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe a provocative one for you to consider. In this age of nonstop information, instant judgment, politics becoming so weaponized,
Yeah.
can any leader really get through public life without facing these kinds of accusations? Hypocrisy, disproportionate scrutiny for maybe even small errors.
Good question.
And if that's the case, what does it mean for the kind of leaders we end up with, or the kind we even allow to serve? Does the system inevitably burn out talent, or does it genuinely select for those who could just withstand incredible pressure?
Really powerful questions. Definitely something to think about long after this deep dive.
Indeed.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel a bit more informed and definitely more curious about this complex intersection of politics, ethics, and trust. Until next time.